enough, Villa. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gab.
Arsenal stay top with a 2-1 win over Brighton. Jules, if they win the league, especially by 2 or fewer points, we may remember that David Raya save off of Yankuba Minte as a turning point.
Yeah, we could. I was at the game and I was right in the line of that shot and the incredible save. And maybe Arsenal still win it, even if it goes to 2-2. But that was an incredible save in a game where Arsenal, I thought, were good, controlled it all apart from those 10-15 minutes like they had against Wolves as well, where they drop control, they're not sure what to do, they can't keep the ball. And then Brighton, who are really good attacking-wise, not so much defensively, but I was really impressed with some of the movement and the play that Brighton had. Arsenal were still worthy winners.
I find it interesting, actually, just about Brighton, because I wasn't there. I watched it on television, and I thought, until sort of the midpoint of the second half, I thought Brighton were really poor, and I thought Arsenal had them in their pockets and wasted chances. But you said they looked good throughout, or?
Yeah, even in the first half when they were under pressure.
Because it's a different experience when you're there.
Yeah. They were good in the first half. They're a bit naive. They're a very young team. They go and press. They run a lot, too much. They give you space. They give you, for a team like Arsenal, everything that you love. And Arsenal could have been 3-0 up at halftime easily. The changes at halftime, to be fair, made a lot of sense. Again, from Hutzler, probably got his team selection wrong. The back five made sense, although it was the first time he did it this season. But they took a long time to work out that they had an extra man, even in their build-up phase, to use a bit more. That's why the second half was better. But yeah, I think Arsenal were the winners again. But I like this Brighton team going forward. Defensively, they've got issues because they're too attacking.
I go back to the Raya thing, since narratives matter, especially in this country. If he doesn't make that save and they drop points and they slip in the second place, Arsenal over the past 3-4 games haven't been, I think, as good as they looked before.
Yeah.
With some exceptions, although I thought Odegaard was really good in the first half.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, things can spin out of control very quickly. You've got the witch, Unai Emery, coming over to do his black magic.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, this was so big. And I have to say, I was not a Raya guy when they signed him at all.
Yeah.
But what he's contributed this season, I think, is on a par with Declan Rice and anybody else you care to name in that team. Your boy, Ryan Shirky, would have been my boy if he'd chosen to play for Italy.
Yeah.
Delivers big time for Manchester City, who win 2-1 away to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, goal and an assist. Great goal, although maybe a little bit lucky. Great assist for Reinders. I think the Doku injury is beneficial for Ryan, who plays a little bit more centrally when Foden plays a bit more wider on the left-hand side. It works for Reinders too, to be fair. But in that kind of form, he's incredible. He's a football genius. I've said that many times before. The problem with geniuses in football is that it's too easy for them. And we wondered in France when he would finally make that step up of not thinking that things were too easy, but actually having better end product, and he seems to have it now. 7 assists of the season already in the Premier League, just in the Premier League, which is the highest number with Bruno Fernandes. I don't know. I know Pep is sometimes not happy with him because he still doesn't really fit in this system and the positional play at times when they play. But what a wonderful player and talent.
This is really important because they go back to this. City are still not good defensively. Nico Gonzalez is still an issue. They're still one-dimensional with Holland. Holland has a quiet game like he did in this match. You need something else. And Shirky and Reinders, especially in the second half, provided that.
And sticking with that game, Gab, Sean Dyche was furious that Shirky's winners too, despite Nico O'Reilly appearing to toss Morgan Gibbs-White to the ground. Are you angry too?
I was angry, and then I saw the replay, and I see that actually Morgan Gibbs-White is grabbing him, and it's proper wrestling.
100%.
Yeah, not obvious from the first angles. I presume that's what Sean Dyche saw. I am angrier about all the stuff that happened. You know this, at corner kicks. I don't want to see this. It's like, oh, look, set piece. Oh, look, isn't he clever? He's running into the goalkeeper. He's setting a pick. This isn't football. This is why we watch the game. This is why we fell in love with the game. I don't know if it's getting worse or if it's just I'm more aware of it because there's more VAR. But it's just not necessary. I wish this stuff would get called. But yes, on this one, I think Sean Dyche, when he sees it, will change his mind. Jules, we're not done. We have more quick hits.
Yes.
Ruben Amorim finally ditches his 3-4-2-1 system for a more traditional 4-2-3-1. And Manchester United beat Newcastle 1-0 as Patrick Dorgu scores a worldie Jules, coincidence?
Not really, no.
Causation, correlation? No.
It was not that convincing, really. And to be fair, I think there was at times not really much between the two systems. But it's a very important win, I think. Even if in the second half they were defending for their lives, which I guess you take pride of, not conceding against Gordon and Voltemade and etc. Bruno Guimaraes and all of that Newcastle team. It's a disappointing score and result and performance from a Newcastle point of view. From Amorim, I'm not really sure what you take away from it because I'm not sure that 4-2-3-1 actually worked that great. Cunha wasn't good. Sesko wasn't good. Yes, you have a lot of players missing. Bruno, Ahmad, and Mbomo already. Just the three of them. Mount comes off at halftime, and I think Amorim likes him a lot. So I'm not sure where you're going, but you didn't concede, and it's a big win.
He could have kept the system and just simply moved Dalot to the other side. So I think that's maybe a thing.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. And sticking with that game, Gab, Newcastle pumped 46 crosses into the box, and Voltemade and Wissa combined for one shot in the whole game. What does that tell you?
That tells me that maybe we need to vary things, try a slightly different strategy. Look, Nick Voltemade, we told you this, the man may be the size of a building, but he is not a traditional center forward. In fact, there was that stat, which may be fake, but I'll repeat it because I've heard it, enough people tell it, that he'd scored like one goal with his head in the previous 2 years or whatever. Yeah. And now he scores a couple goals with his head, many of them with his shoulder, like his bounces off his head. It's not what the guy does.
Yeah.
So maybe don't pump so many balls into the box. He had 0 shots on goal in 68 minutes. Yeah. He can give you something different. That said, Newcastle played better. Then Newcastle deserves something from this game. I don't want to be too hard on Eddie Howe, but I do expect him now that he's had half a season with Voltemade. He has another guy who can play up front in Johan Wissa. Find a different way of playing. Find an alternative. Find something that works better because pumping balls to this guy's head isn't going to get you where you want to be. Florian Wirtz finally gets his first goal for Liverpool, and they beat Wolves 2-1. Jules, 3 points, but this was closer than it should have been.
Yeah, maybe. Although I thought Liverpool were very good for most of that game. It was a very emotional day with the Diogo Jota tribute and his family and his children on the pitch and his former 2 clubs, obviously, in England. So it was... I don't think it was easy to deal with the whole thing, but they did well. Wirtz finally scored, great assist by Ekitike. That partnership between Wirtz and Ekitike is looking really, really promising. So it feels very much like their team right now, certainly on the back of the last 2 games. They play Leeds at home on Thursday, which would be very interesting to see if they continue like that. But you're disappointed by the goal you concede, and it's a goal you should never concede. And then... yeah, you all look a bit fragile. It's a bit tense, the end. Although it's a big win, and they're back in 4th now. And, they will have to play at Arsenal, I think, on January the 8th, which is not too long away. But at least it's better than what we've seen earlier in the season.
Wirtz on the left. Can we say I've won my bet? Are you not willing to concede yet?
If you think he was playing, on the left-hand side,
Hey, off the ball at least,
Yeah, off the ball,
I'm
just
given, but... Also, that guy Mane, who everybody gets so excited about, phenomenal kid, but like he doesn't really believe in passing the ball.
Decision making.
Wow.
At that age, it's often the problem.
But so much confidence.
Yeah.
Archie Gray helps Spurs and the man with 2 first names get a big 3 points away to Crystal Palace. Jules, were they lucky?
I don't know if they were lucky because I thought Palace were disappointing overall, like they've been for the last few games. They look tired. They need a holiday. They won't get a holiday, by the way. So I'm not sure where Palace are going, really. It was a poor goal to concede. There was 2 more goals that were disallowed, and rightly so, after VAR for offsides. And I'm not sure. I don't think Spurs were that great either. But at least they didn't concede and scored on set piece again.
I see no progress whatsoever from Spurs other than the 3 points. And Palace, I thought, they're still creating chances.
Yeah.
They're just not finishing them. I think the man with 2 first names got very lucky. Everybody seems to want Antoine Semenyo, Jules, or is it mainly that he has a £65 million clause that is active for the first 10 days of the transfer window? He has a new agency representing him, and they want to make sure that everybody knows about it.
Yeah, although everybody knew about it already, I don't think they need...
No, everybody in the media, it seems like we're not talking about anything else.
Yeah, but all the clubs knew that he had that release clause before. This is nothing new. I think there was a lot of clubs that were kind of waiting for it. The release clause will go even lower in the summer if you don't want to sign him now, although it looks like clubs want to sign him now, including Manchester City, who seem to be in the lead. And you can probably understand why, because if you've got that money and if you can sign a player like Semenyo, if you're City, of course you do. There's no hesitation. It's a no-brainer. He's a pressing machine. He will give you goals and assists. He could be an option off the bench as a starter on the left, on the right, whatever you want to do with him. And that's what City do. You go and get Marmoush, you go and get Semenyo, you go and get Kusanov. They don't play. It doesn't matter so much. So, yes, go for it, of course.
Who do you think is going to be more disappointed out of Marmoush, Doku, or Savinho if Semenyo comes?
I don't know. I mean, certainly Savinho is even less game time for Savinho and more importantly for Marmoush. The Daily Mail reports that the Premier League and the EFL will hold talks about lifting the 3 p.m. Saturday blackout, which banned men's football from being shown on television at that time.
Okay, sometimes people do the right things for the wrong reasons, Jules. I think it's the right thing. I think this is an absurdity.
Completely.
It's based on the fact that
it's crazy.
People won't go and watch their lower league teams if Manchester United or Arsenal are on television at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. So leaving aside the fact that it's not that often that United and Arsenal are on television at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Unless you happen to live next door to the ground, there is no way that, you can, there's no way you can do one and then the other, right? It's okay to have a game at 5:15. So what you're supposed to do, you go to your non-league game because there's a blackout, and then you rush home to watch the game at 5:15. It just makes no sense. This is an anachronism. It's a completely different experience.
Yeah.
The crowds are healthy in the lower divisions. If you are going to lift the blackout, which again, the reason they're doing it is just to make more money. I mean, let's be clear on this. Let's have something positive. Let's borrow rules like they had in the NFL. For example, we'll lift the blackout for your 3 o'clock game if you sell out. Or let's set a target for you. If you have a 30,000 seat stadium, then you have to have 27,000 people there or whatever it is, right? So that you actually want more people to come to your game rather than watch on television. These are things that I think you can do and also help the fans. This country's got such a strength in the pyramid and the number of people who go watch lower division games. It's stronger than the blackout, but if you can use this to go and give something back to them, incentivize the clubs, then I think everybody's better off.